Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. Back for another show. Awesome. Thank you for all the clapping. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Welcome to the Mr. Phelps Show. Today, we are going to be looking further into To Kill a Mockingbird. We got plenty of fun right in this book. You guys don't even know it. Alright? So today, we got a fun-packed show with coffee. Excellent. So, here's how it's going to go down. First, we're going to get a weather report from our meteorologist. Then, we're going to hear from Mr. Finch himself, Mr. Atticus Finch, on Mr. Finch's neighborhood. And then, we are going to go to the court of Judge John Taylor. And we are going to put Jem on trial. That's right. We're putting Jem Finch on trial. You better believe it. So, since we've been reading the book, I'm going to stop the talking since I talk too much. Let's get right into it. First thing on deck, let's have a weather report from our friendly meteorologist, Mr. Phelps. Hello everyone. What a beautiful day it is, or wish I could say that. It's your friendly meteorologist, Mr. Phelps. I'm out here with your weather report for today for the city of Macomb, Alabama. And as you know, we're in the middle of the 1930s. There's a depression among us. Not so great. We try to live the best we can, but we're in the middle of a dust bowl and middle of a bunch of sand flying around that just might end up taking, my umbrella if I'm not careful. So anyway, I'm going to give you a weather report from one of our residents from the town. So here we go. Macomb was an old town, but it was a tired old town when I first knew it. In rainy weather, the streets turned to red slop. Grass grew on the sidewalks, the courthouse sagged in the square. Somehow it was hotter then. A black dog suffered on a summer's day. Bony mules hitched to Hoover cars flicked flies in the sweltering shade of the live oaks on the square. Men's stiff collars wilted by 9 in the morning. Ladies bathed before noon after their 3 o'clock naps, and by nightfall were like soft tea cakes with frostings of sweat and sweet talcum. So as you can see, very hot weather, very sandy, blowing. It's not the greatest conditions for anyone, but this is the tired old town of Macomb. Oh, I think it just took my umbrella. It's really getting windy out of here. We better get going soon before the sandstorm gets me. Dust Bowl. All right, guys, this is your weather report. Mr. Phelps, I'm out of here. Thank you, Mr. Phelps, for our weather report. Now, we're going to be switching gears, and we're going to learn a little bit about Atticus Finch on the set of Mr. Finch's neighborhood. If you hadn't known, Atticus is a very well-mannered, very upbeat, very motivational guy who always tries to act the greatest in Macomb and always tries to be nice and be a neighbor to everyone. So Mr. Finch's neighborhood, a great show where Mr. Finch is going to talk to you and show you what it's like to be a neighbor. All right, let's get to it. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood, a neighborly day for a beauty. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I have always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in the neighborhood with you. So let's make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, we might as well say, would you be mine? Would you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Won't you be? Won't you be? Please won't you be my neighbor? Oh, hello neighbor. How are you doing today? You're probably wondering what this is right here. Well, I'll tell you. But first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Mr. Atticus Finch, and I am a lawyer here in town of Macomb. I'm one of the lawyers who presides over the town and tries to bring my moral virtues to make things right in the town. I have two younger children, Jem and Scout, and I'm always trying to teach them a lesson about how to be good people. So back to this, if I can. This here is a gavel. You'll often see a gavel when you go to a courtroom, and the judge will use the gavel to get everybody's attention. Now this is Judge Taylor's gavel, and he'll be using it shortly in the courtroom when we go there. And he'll often say, order, order, and he'll bang to get people's attention. So it's kind of his way of showing that he has power in the courtroom. So everyone, today in Mr. Finch's neighborhood, as that is where we are today, my show, I just wanted to run through some words of wisdom that I've developed over the years. A lot of people in town look to me to give them guidance through hard times, especially Tom Robinson, the case that I preside over. And others just look at me for words of wisdom since I'm a lawyer and have some experience and am getting a little bit up there in age. So I'm going to read you some quotes here, and I'm going to tell you what they're about and how we can be a good neighbor, because that's what this is really all about. Macomb is a town with a lot of people who have a lot of issues with each other, and oftentimes they are deceitful and don't say the right thing, and really we should all be neighbors and be friendly with one another. So that's kind of my emphasis here and my words of wisdom, and I hope you take them seriously, and we can go through and talk about how they help us become a good neighbor. So let me start. First of all, if you learn a simple trick, Scout, you'll get along a lot better with all kinds of folks. You'll never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view, until you climb into his skin and walk around in it. So this is a quote I said to my daughter Scout, which has to do with empathy and understanding others, because you never really understand a person until you look at things from their point of view. And so many people in Macomb haven't done that, unfortunately. We have Boo Radley, who people think of him as the boy who is locked in his house and scares everybody, but he's really a deeper person once you get to know him. And then you have Tom Robinson, who the color of his skin really puts him aside from everybody else and doesn't make him a very... I have a couple more quotes I'm going to go through. They're all very similar, as I mentioned, as they have to do with empathy, being a good neighbor, and learning how to be a good person, learning how to be moral in this town that is so diverse and so angry and so mad and so different. There's so many people here with so many points of view who really disagree with one another, and again, we need to be a good neighbor. So the next quote, I wanted you to see what real courage is, instead of getting the idea that courage is a man with a gun in his hand. It's when you know you're licked before you begin, but you begin anyway and you see it through no matter what. You rarely win, but sometimes you do. So, I was once a hunter, a shooter. They called me the one-shot Finch. And, I showed courage with a gun. But, to me, that's not real courage. Real courage is being a good person and doing what's right, even if it means getting hurt in the process. You never want to give up being a good person. You always want to do the right thing, keep your head held high, and don't let it get to you if other people are upset. Again, the whole neighbor thing. You got to be a good neighbor and you got to do the right thing. There's no way around that, because in the end, you will be praised for what you do. So always have courage to do what is right, even if the situation isn't in your favor. Don't give up. Be strong. That's what we need to do. Be morally strong. I'm going to read one last final quote to you. Jem, see if you can stand in Bob Ewell's shoes for a minute. I destroyed his last shred of credibility at that trial, if he had any to begin with. The man had to have some kind of comeback. His kind always does. So if spitting in my face and threatening me to save Mayella Ewell was one extra beating, that's something I'll gladly take. So this truly emphasizes what I was trying to say, that, you might be a good person and you might get spit at in the face like Mr. Ewell did to me, but in the end, I protected his daughter from getting hurt, or I helped contribute to her safety. And so that was the bigger means out of it, the bigger, friendly neighborhood means out of it. Not the fact that I got spat at in the face, it was the fact that I was protecting her, being a good neighbor. And even though the times were tough and I faced a lot of hostility, I still did what I needed to do to be a neighbor and be a good person and to be morally right. And that, people, is why I became a lawyer. Not because I wanted to make money, not because I wanted to hold people accountable. I became a lawyer because I wanted to do what's right, and I wanted to be a good neighbor to everyone around me. And so that's what I'm asking everybody to do. These are my words of wisdom out to you as neighbors, to be good neighbors and to help one another and to just be the best person that you can be moving forward. Because if we don't do this, Maycomb will never be a friendly place again. There's so much hostility and so much going on, and we need to come together as a town and be neighbors with one another. Alright, so I challenge you to be the best person you can be, to be a neighbor, and to be friendly to everyone around you. Only then will Maycomb survive. So I thank you for coming today, and on the set of Mr. Finch's Neighborhood. Again, I bring up the gavel here, and I'm going to be taking this to Judge Taylor, and I'm going to meet you in the courthouse very shortly for some court proceedings. Alright? So I want to thank you for coming. Tune in next time, and remember, be a good neighbor. Alright, so that was a rather interesting show with Mr. Atticus Finch. I hope you got a lot out of it. And now we're just going to have a message, and then we're going to take off right to the courtroom where we will be on the set of Judge John Taylor. Thank you all. Stick with us and have some fun. And coffee.
People of America, I regret to inform you today, the stock market, it has plummeted. We are in a state worse than Germany after the Great War.
Our nation is in peril. Our crops are dying. Food is running out. Jobs are few and far in between. Many are without work or are suffering among the Dust Bowl, moving from farm to farm, waiting for their next meal. We must end this terrible drought.
First of all, let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Those are the words of a true savior for our nation. Do not let Hoover run us down with his Hoover cars and whatnot. Our country needs a new direction in this tough time. Franklin D. Roosevelt is going to run out a new deal and repair the nation that Herbert Hoover ran into the ground.
literally. His mismanagement and disregard led our nation to crumble in a dust bowl. If you want direction, and you want salvation, and you want a job to feed your family, vote for FDR, aggression to end the Great Depression. I am Franklin D. Roosevelt, and I approve this message. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge John Taylor. The people here are real, the cases are real, and the rulings are final. It's Judge John Taylor.
And here is your judge, Mr. Judge John Taylor. Hello, my name is Judge John Taylor. This is my court. We field a ton of cases from Macomb, and today we are going to take on 3 important cases that have to do from the city of Macomb. So, you're here with me today, and we're going to look at these cases and determine who is innocent and who is guilty. I have Mr. Atticus Finch here to assist me on some of these cases as well, in case I need a lawyer's approval. So, let's get to it.
Our plaintiff is Mr. Nathan Radley. We don't know a whole lot about him, except that he's related to Boo Arthur Radley, the one that the kids fear. Our defendant is Jem Finch, the boy who sneaks around the Radley house.
Alright, so why are we here today? Judge, this boy was caught snooping around in my yard. Mr. Radley, do you have any proof of this occurrence? What is this? A pair of pants? Are you serious? It's the boy's pants. Overruled. What does his pants have to do with anything? When he was snooping around, they got caught on my fence. I found them hanging. Jem, are these your pants? I don't recall. Stand up, Jem. Atticus, are these your son's pants? Examine them. Yeah, I have to say, these certainly are Jem's. Guaranteed. Is that so? Jem Finch, you're 1 for 1 today. But he had a gun, and he was trying to shoot us. And must I ask, Jem, why? Why were you on his property? I didn't mean to, Judge. Order. Answer my question, Jem Finch. Well, Atticus, work the boy. Jem, I must ask, and remember, be honest with you, because I am not just a lawyer, but I am your father. Where were you on the night of the 21st? Scout, Dill, and I were playing ball outside, and the ball fell inside the Radley's property. So I had to climb the fence to get to the ball, and then when I climbed, I got in and I got the ball and I was running and I heard a gunshot and bam, I had to climb the fence, and that's when my pants got caught, and then I had to sneak out and go home. Mr. Radley, were you shooting at my boy? Look, I couldn't see him, and all I heard was some noise. I was trying to protect my property. I mean, I have a right to protect my property if someone comes on it. And you don't expect someone to come out in the middle of the night to your property. Certainly not. Rule in favor of the plaintiff, Mr. Radley. Jem, that's a strike for you. You've been sentenced to stay out of the Radley property. That's it? Excuse me, I haven't finished yet. But shouldn't he... Let me finish, Mr. Radley. Jem, you've been sentenced to stay clear of the Radley property, and any communication with Boo will result in you having to help Mr. Radley fill up every knothole in town. All right, case dismissed. Dismissed. Thank you, Judge. I know you made the right choice in this one. That boy deserves to be punished. Thank you. Bring in the next case.
Here we have the plaintiff, Mrs. DuBose, a cranky old lady who loves planting camellias and reading in her free time. She's suing Jem Finch for defamation of her camellia bushes. How ridiculous. And then there's the defendant, Jem, the troublemaker teenager who gets into fits of rage.
Not again. Alright, how can I help you both today? This boy ripped up my beautiful camellias! Camellias? Boy, what were you thinking? Aren't you already in enough trouble today? Look, Judge, I didn't mean to. Yes, you did. You tore them all up. Every last one of them. Judge, she made me angry. She kept making fun of my father. That's a filthy... Order, order. Let him speak, Mrs. DuBose. Look, she was very mean to my dad, Judge. Does that give you the right to rip up her camellias? Well, I... Order, order. Spit it out, boy. I know it was wrong, and I'm terribly sorry, Mrs. DuBose. I'm terribly sorry. You bet your life it was wrong, you little brat! Order. Bring in One-Shot Finch. He'll get his son to talk. Jem, we talked about this. Come on. You know Mrs. DuBose is very old. What you did to defend me was brave, but it was wrong. You couldn't control your madness, and for that, you will pay the price. I'm sorry, Atticus. For that, you are guilty. Judge, this was clearly done out of my defense. Don't let his father defend him! Order, order, order. Whether or not it was done out of defense, you will still pay the price. And for that, I sentence you to 1 month of reading to Mrs. DuBose. And you must replant every single one of her camellias in that garden. Order. Jeez, I didn't even think she liked reading books. This is final. Rule in the favor of Mrs. DuBose. Court dismissed. Bring in the next case. Thank you, Judge. I'm gonna go make me some more camellias, and this boy, rightfully so, is gonna help me plant them. Take care, y'all, Judge. Justice is served.
Jem Finch seems to be a troubled individual. He is our next defendant, along with our plaintiff, Mr. Avery, a very peculiar guy who was made into a snowman.
You gotta be kidding me. It's Jem Finch again? You better behave, boy. Why is it always me? Alright, so why are we here again? This boy made me into a snowman. This boy made you into a snowman. Alright. I'm sorry. This boy made you into a snowman. Yeah, Judge, he debased me and slandered my name, him and his little friends. Look, I was only trying to have fun. We didn't think it was such a huge crime to do that. Order, order. Do you know how cruel that is, boy? But No buts with me, boy. There's absolutely no defacing anybody in this town. Your father can tell you that. But he has a funny mustache, Judge. Funny mustache, funny mustache. Whatever it is, you're wrong. Do I need Atticus for this one, too? No, sir. No offense, Mr. Avery, but you do kind of have a funny mustache. Doesn't he, Judge? Can I just say that I'm really upset about this, and I think he should have more of a punishment for this. Mr. Avery, I call the shots here. Please, Judge, this wayward teen needs to learn his lesson. I rule in favor of the plaintiff, Mr. Avery. Jem, you can't deface people on Snowman. It's just not nice. I sentence you to send him a personal apology, and next time it snows in Maycomb, you need to build his home into a personal snow palace. But I can't do that. It hardly ever snows in Maycomb. Order, order, order. Jem, you have a lot of chores, boy. You better get to it. Court dismissed. Thank you. Thank you, Judge. Now I'm going home and I'm watching some Judge Judy. Let's put the music on and let's party and get out of here. Excellent, excellent. Wasn't that a blast, everyone? Yeah, I thought so too. It was great. Great going to court, putting Jem on trial for all the things he's done in the book, even though he's not really a bad kid. We needed somebody to take the fall in court, and fortunately it was Jem. This is obviously reminiscent of the court case in To Kill a Mockingbird, only it's a real court case in To Kill a Mockingbird with Tom Robinson. Real in the world of Maycomb, of course. So that's a little more in depth, a little more to the point, a little less humorous. Obviously a lot less humorous. So anyway, hopefully that segues you in to kind of learn about the court case and have a feel for it and just have a little fun with the book. Anyway, I want to thank you for watching the Mr. Phelps Show. Tune in next time for some more Mr. Phelps related fun stuff. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.